time. He had some other obligations he needs to take care of. And so we get to visit with Justin Parker today, the pitching coach on this Mississippi State baseball team. Justin, we appreciate some of your time. Great to get to visit with you for the first time.
No, I appreciate you having me.
So let's walk through the 3 games from this weekend and then talk some bigger picture stuff. Obviously, Friday night was tough. Lose that game 4-0. It really felt like Cal Steven pitched maybe better than the result of the game. Did you like what you saw from him on Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think, what he does every time out, and it's tough being the first guy through the door. Sometimes you go in with a scouting report and it's dead on and you roll from the beginning. I think our report and our scouting was pretty good on them, but they came out ready to go too, and they've done their homework on him. And after that second inning, he settled in and really pitched well. And I think, the biggest thing that we're very fortunate, I know I feel very fortunate, is, he continues to teach a lot of the younger guys on our staff what it is to be a weekend starter, especially a frontline type Friday night starter, is regardless of what happens early, like, you got to keep going. And there's I see it a lot more now than you used to from a toughness standpoint, but Cal is a throwback. Cal is tough. Cal's mean. Cal's an animal. And, it's just every inning, his mentality is, I'm just going to get better every inning. And, I thought he did that. It was, unfortunately we came up with a loss, but, with how he pitched, we're going to win plenty of those games we have this year to this point. And, he's just such a great example of what it really is to be kind of that frontline guy, the first guy through the door, and that mentality that you have to have. I thought he pitched well. I thought he made some great adjustments mid-game. I thought he got better throughout. I thought he's had, one heck of a month here. And to do that on the road, again, just to give up a couple in the first and another one in the second, it's tough to respond like that. It's not easy. Your human nature says, oh crap, but he's tough, man. He's, got such great respect for him.
I've asked Chris some version of this, I think each of the last 2 weeks, but what is it, you're working with him on a day-to-day basis, what is it that has allowed him to kind of grow into what he has become during the season, kind of from where he was at the beginning of the year and maybe where he was previous years when you weren't working with him to what he is for the last 6 or 7 weeks?
Well, initially what we liked about him is, and I actually, when I was still at coaching at Indiana, I had a chance to scout him a little bit and get to know his family. I watched him pitch, I think, a game as a sophomore in high school. And, then, of course, you watch some of the tape of him at Purdue. One, he's been a guy that's been, a weekend starter. He's been a guy that's taken the ball. We love the workload. We love the track record. We love the size and athleticism. And then as you get to know him and as you get to meet him and as you get to work with him, you get to know, okay, this kid's got great aptitude, first of all. He's a great learner. And then, over the course of, you go in, I kind of think about games, especially with starters, almost as like a prize fight. And you just got to win rounds. And you may lose a round or two, but you got to adjust in real time. You have to adjust and problem solve and then apply that information fast. And he does all those things. So, he's a joy to coach because his aptitude's so good and he's such a quick adjustment maker and such a good learner that, I think I saw a ton of growth from when he got here in the fall to kind of opening day. And then I think what you're seeing now, maybe more under a microscope, is, every time out, and then specifically within those outings, is what he's able to do, how quickly he's able to adjust. I think that's the biggest strength, and that's what's allowed him to have success in our league. Our league it's almost like a combination of chess and poker, and you got to continue to self-scout and counter-punch and take a punch and get off the mat. And, as a coach, I just appreciate that mentality that Cal has and that again, that aptitude that he can learn and he can apply information in a hurry, and he's so much fun to go to battle with.
Coach, you switch your rotation up a little bit, and you go to Brooks Auger there on Saturday. You'd done that the week before, and he had gotten you through 3 innings. This week he gets you 5 and was really, really effective. Is that something you think going forward he can replicate?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're stretching him out. We've done, and I think you can kind of see this in a couple other guys too. we flipped some roles. We've stretched some guys out. We've shortened some guys up. We've had some guys late. We've bumped them earlier. Brooks, a guy that's pitched in a lot of different roles for us, and he's had a little bit of a history of doing some different things. This past week, we just felt like with the workload and the weather last week, having Tarantula throw on Sunday, we wanted to keep him on full rest. And Brooks is just a guy that we felt like, one, he's a strike thrower. He's experienced. He's a veteran. He's got 3 pitches, and he was dominant last week for 3 innings, and we felt like even in that fourth, he was just fractionally missing. So it wasn't like we felt like physically he ran out of gas. We felt a little bit more like maybe it was a little bit more emotionally kind of got away from him in the fourth a little bit. So we felt like he had the workload to do a little bit more, and then he just executed pitches and got guys out and attacked them. And I think when he's doing that, when he's just making pitches, just trying to execute pitches, that's it, and not chasing velo or not amped up or any of that stuff. He's been really good for us as a starter, or bringing him out of the pen early and kind of giving us some length in games. So, that's been, just a big weapon to be able to figure out, the role that he's pitching in now, I think is one that he's the most comfortable in, and he's given us the most utility in.
Coach, everybody's going to talk about Hunter Hines on Sunday and the game-winning home run. Obviously a huge play, but am I wrong in thinking the biggest play in that game may really be Logan Kohler fielding that grounder and throwing home in the 8th inning?
Well, that was a huge – if you look at that game, there's a ton of little plays within the game. I even thought you're going to laugh at me and maybe kind of even raise your brow a little bit, but there was an at-bat with Amani Larry early against Ginther, the lefty, before he got settled in. It was a 3-2 count. I think he ended up getting hit by the pitch, but with 2 outs, didn't let him settle in. You get to the next guy, Logan Kohler hits a big 3-run homer early even. I thought that was a big play. The play at home was a big play. Carson Ligon coming in, or even before that, I know Nolan Stevens didn't pitch his best out of the pen, but there with the bases loaded, nobody out, he kind of manages that jam just enough, gets a ground ball. We get the play at home with Kohler that you had mentioned, and then go to Ligon, and he manages that situation. And that's kind of what it feels like we are as a ball club. It's just sometimes it's not pretty. Matter of fact, rarely it's pretty. But that's what this league is about, and it's just guys hanging in there, staying in the fight, making plays. And giving yourself a chance to win late. And, of course, it is really good to see Hunter Hines there. He's done it for us a couple weeks in a row now, giving us the big bolt late. Did it at Ole Miss, did it on Saturday, and again did it there Sunday. So it's awesome to see him, I think, maybe start to find some confidence and starting to get into a nice rhythm.
Visiting with Justin Parker, pitching coach at Mississippi State, on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. Justin, there are different ways to do it at the end of the game, right? Sometimes you've got a bona fide closer, and he's the guy that's going to get the last 3 outs. You've got 4 different guys with 2 saves. And I guess that speaks to me of trust, but maybe there's not that just one dominant guy also. What's your strategy at the end of the game as to, who you're running out there, who you believe in to get those final 3 outs? Would you prefer to have just one dude that you're like, hey, go get me 3 outs and we're going to the house and we know how it's going to end? Or do you like it like this where you've got some different guys?
Well, I like it like we have it going lately. I know we've juggled some guys a little bit early, and really, look, I said this going into this year. One, because of the unfamiliarity for me with the roster, and even just getting to know the guys, not even just in a practice setting, but just getting to figure out who they are in battle. I think there's a real difference in the last 3 to 6 outs of a game, especially in the SEC, especially on the road in the SEC. We've, of course, taken our lumps there, and every week I feel like we're figuring out more about, putting each guy. I've said this a lot, just my responsibility is to get each guy comfortable, confident, and in the right role for them to have success. And, I think we're starting to do that a little bit more. There's a couple kind of schools of thought to the end of the game. One, you have a dude that just wipes guys off of the field. That's my preferred method.
Sure.
But for us, it's been more about matchups and makeup. So we have a few guys at the end of the game that we feel like are experienced and tough, and have good stuff. We also feel like we have some guys that create unique matchups. If we can get them there, and lately what we've been able to do with the combination of Harden and Davis, and then Schulke a little bit earlier in the game, especially for right-handers. We feel like we're learning more about this staff every week and adding guys to the mix. I liked what I saw out of Carson Ligon. I mean, he's a guy that's running up the fastball up to 96, 97. And he's got two really, really good off-speed pitches. Hope to get him in the fold more as well. And, and I've also said this kind of throughout this year, our goal and our aim is to be at our best when it matters the most. And we're going to grow as a group as the season goes. And, both individually from a development standpoint, guys are continuing to get better and perform better. But I think we're also, again, as a group, getting guys into better spots for them to have success and feel comfortable and go out there and get their job done.
Justin Parker, pitching coach at Mississippi State.